जी, शुक्रिया।
और सबका अदर में ये एस्पेक्ट है, ये तो हम लोग उनसे पूछते तो हमें थोड़ा बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं जानते।
जी, जी। असल में जहाँ तक मामला अ, बदला लेने का है, उस सिलसिले में मतलब यानी कि इस्लाम ने इजाज़त दी है किसी हद तक, लेकिन बदला लेने को ज़्यादा तरजीह दी गई है। यानी अगर माफ़ कर दिया जाए, तो वो ज़्यादा बेहतर है। खुद अल्लाह ताला ने अपने रसूल को इस तरह मुतवज्जो कराया, जिसके ताल्लुक से एक आयत है और जिसमें जी, 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 कि माफ़ कर दिया जाए तो वो बेहतर है। जी,
के क्या मीनिंग है?
हाँ, अखलाक के मायना मतलब एथिक्स है, मोरालिटी है।
अच्छा, नहीं, यही है मीनिंग को इखलाक
President, huh?
है।
Now I invite Professor Sanaullah sir to kindly give his presidential remarks.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمد بن عبد الله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. This session has been bilingual, where we had listened to 10 very, very scholarly presentations. Usually it is said that the president is not confined or restricted by time limit, but in practice, I'll be confining myself to just a few minutes, 5, 6 minutes, not more. The first paper was presented by Professor Ziauddin Sahab, highlighting the very confluence of religious and modern education in Arabic seminaries, chiefly Jamiatul Falah, and in which the focus was on English, political science, and social sciences, which had presented a good paradigm of the education that could be incorporated in contemporary institutions like Aligarh Muslim University. The second paper was presented by Professor Latif Hussain Kazmi Saab, the philosopher in this university, on the on a very significant topic that could be summed up in accordance to my own priorities, which I have been attached with since I think 2.5 decades, in the backdrop of the interaction between different religions or interfaith dialogue, where the shared legacy of humankind is emphasized. But again, this shared legacy of humankind, which is to be emphasized, while it comes to religion, it has so many complex matters, might be related to ontology, might be related to epistemology, even to ethics, even to ethics. And while just talking about the common ethics or the shared ethics between different communities of the world, different communes, different religions of the world, we might be having some big questions related to the exact sociology, politics of that religion. And that would be turning the situation into something very complex. So that I had actually seen, while in regard to the common or the shared legacy that is usually projected as the shared one between Hinduism and Islam, because Hinduism and Islam, especially, there are so many complex issues in terms of faith. So if someone just takes Gayatri Mantra and compares it with the Surah Fatiha in some very common terms, there might be some very, very problematic issues. Problematic issues. I wish I had time to elaborate upon that. but unfortunately, I won't be saying. So here, a particular word that is usually defined in terms of universal being, it happens to be something very much particular in the Hindu mythological domain. Tatsavi Turvarenyam. So if this Tatsavi Turvarenyam, if this is interpreted in terms of Savita Devi, then it might be very much problematic, because this actually it touches upon the very core of faith. This just brings us to a very basic question, that is, while comparing between different religions in terms of common things, common ethics, there might be some very, very vexing, problematic, methodological, sociological issues. Professor Obedullah Fahad Sahab, his very scholarly presentation on Maulana Maudud, this concept of ulum diniya, in which the focal point was the emphasis on maqasid al-sharia and ijtihad, and a holistic approach towards the domains or the cognitive domains of the humankind, in which he had made a reference to the very concept of Islamiyat al-Marifa. And I think he had some reference, without deliberating upon that, to the very concept of Takamul al-Marifi, which has replaced Islamiyat al-Marifa because of some vexing questions. Dr. Zafar Darik Sahab, he had talked about the religious and contemporary education, and how it is compartmented, and how it turns to be a troubling issue or the dilemma, and how it should be replaced by the very concept of ilm nafi and ilm ghair nafi, with reference to Maulana Munazir Ahsan Gilani. But again, the things which are to be taken into account is that the very concept of nafi and ghair nafi, and their ranges in religious terms and in practical, political, and sociological terms. Because what is nafe might be ghair nafe in some specific conditions. So, given the domain of relativity in nafe and ghair nafe, replacing ulum diniya and ulum dunyawiya with ulum nafi'a and ulum ghair nafi'a might need some deep thinking and deep approach. Dr. Muhammad Amir Saab had talked about the significance of religious education in educational institutions, with a special reference to Sir Syed and Sir Syed's vision. Dr. Zubair Zafar Saab had, in his deliberation, done away with what is usually projected in the grab of the dichotomy between religious and contemporary education, and how they could be conciled and reconciled. Dr. Nadeem Ashraf Saab had taken stock of the syllabi of Diniyat in Aligarh Muslim University, right from the days of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, while Dr. Muhammad Aslam Khan Sahab, Asim Khan Sahab, had talked about the significance of moral education in significance of religious education in fostering the ethical system or ethical paradigm in society. What comes to my mind at the end is that Dr. Gaurav Saab had talked about a very significant aspect of insurance. highlighting the concept of al-mudaraba, al-vikala, and etc. That opens us to some new vistas of deliberations, which should be taken very seriously for the scholars in the backdrop of the new avenues coming to the front internationally in economic and otherwise fronts, like this very concept, besides some other concepts which we find in modern times, like short selling, for example, genetic engineering market, for example, and so many other things, which do present to us vistas of ijtihad, vision, and the traditional Sharia, traditional approaches, and the actualities in modern society. So all these, Dr. Aisha Siddiqa talked about the basic religious education in the pluralist society in terms of methodology, and how that could be seen in the backdrop of the Islamiyatul Ma'rifa of Ismail Raji Faruqi. So the real thing is that this is the holistic or the holistic approach which is to be incorporated in the system of education. That system, that education, that is the actual need of human society, human being. The human being that lives in a world that is combination of the work of God and the word of God. And there could not be much contradictions or enmity between the two. And if you are able to bridge the gap, this gap methodologically between what has been projected in modern parlances as the works of God to be contrasting the words of God, if you are able to do away with this, that would be the holistic approach. And that would be actually catering to the need of human society and paving way for the sustainable development we aspire for, which is to be assured for the entire community, for the entire human society in future. With this, I thank the organizers and congratulate them for providing this very standard and valuable platform for deliberating upon so many themes which are related to modern education, taking into view the basics of traditional education and presenting this confluence that is represented by Aligarh Muslim University and so many other institutions, inshallah. Thank you very much.